Hello, subscribers. Today I'm going to do a game of Mikhail Tal versus Yuri Averbakh. This game I really wanted to go over because it shows a young, strong player facing this very mature and objective master. And this game was played in the Riga in the year 1954. During the USSR Team Championship. And also, this is very interesting because, like Tal, he did some interesting preparation of the this Belgrade Gambit. So I think you'll enjoy this game. Mikhail Tal started off with e4, and Averbakh played e5. Tal played knight to f3, knight to f6, or knight to c6, obviously. Tal played knight to c3. Now, this, of course, generally the four knights is stereotypical for draws, and there's often very symmetrical games that follow. But Tal, he wanted to go for something sharp. And so, after knight to f6, Tal played d4. And Averbakh played e takes on d4. And now Tal played knight to d5. Wait, not to that. Knight to d5. This variation has a branch of, let's see. Well, this is played in the game, but yeah, one of the branches of this variation follows with knight takes on e4, queen to e2, f5, and bishop to f4. Very dangerous. And here's an example of what could also follow from this dangerous variation. Bishop b4 check, c3, d takes on c3, knight takes on b4, knight takes on b4, bishop g5, attacking the queen, knight d3 check, king to d1, c takes on b2, rook b1, queen e7, and bishop takes on e7, knight c3 check, king c2, knight takes on e2, bishop takes on e2, knight takes on f2, bishop to a3, and knight takes on h1, rook takes on h1. And this is a plus-minus assessment, and probably the most aggressive line. And this is probably what Tal had in mind, or what he wanted to go for in this game. The Belgrade. And I think the normal move in the Belgrade Gambit is bishop to e7, and games are solid here. I think, let's see. This isn't working at the moment, but anyway, back to the game. So, Averbakh played knight to b4, and one route, which could be considered, let's see, is, well, this was played in the game, knight takes on d4, but another route could be knight takes on f6, queen takes on f6, a3, knight to c6, bishop g5, queen g6, and bishop d3. But after d6, this is, there's not much compensation for the pawn. Black is just a pawn up here. So Tal went for knight to takes d4. But Averbakh, being a very calculating player, played this knight takes on e4. And this is a strong move, and it welcomes complications. Now, Tal counted on knight b takes on d5, and after e takes on d5, knight takes on d5, knight to f5, knight e7, bishop g5, f6, bishop takes on f6, g takes on f6, queen h5 check, knight to g6, bishop c4. And the attack is dangerous. But this move by Averbakh was This was it's almost as if he just analyzed this himself and found the avoidance of that variation and found a strong variation for black. Where it's very complicated and he's up material, but there's some initiative he has to stop. So yeah, now after this discovery of Averbach's Knight B4 is one of the best ways of getting a decent game. Yeah, so I guess in retrospect, Bishop C4 could be a solid way to play against Knight to B4. But now Knight to F5 was played by Tau. There's no way to retreat, which is good because Tau likes not retreating. And Averbakh played C6. This is the beginning of a strong maneuver, it seems. I think, yeah, and if Knight takes here, this just helps, I think, White. This Knight's under fire, and there's initiative. So now, Knight takes on B4, Bishop takes on B4, check. Tau played C3, and Averbakh played Queen to F6. And now Tau played Queen to F3. And one thing I'm going to look at is this could be considered with this aggressive Knight takes here. But I think there's an aggressive response of maybe Queen D2. Maybe. Or not Queen D2. No, Queen D2 would lose. Well, I guess this could be considered maybe. But I think White is doing fine with his development, being ahead and having a ready attack on G7 and mate if castles. So that could be why. Well, that's just giving up all your developed pieces. Yeah, that's not to be considered. So, yeah, Queen to F3. Another try could be Knight takes on G7, but this is just. Oh wait, not King F8. No, because of. Let's see. I think this is strong. King D8. And this could be tried. Looks active, but now this gives up something. Gives like some kind of attack. Let's see. This is an interesting position. Although, just maintaining the position is the best here. And that variation with Queen G4. Yeah, Queen F3 is good. Just maintains that knight and doesn't self-pin with the bishop. And now Averbakh played knight takes on C3. And here Tau played A3, attacking that bishop. And another consideration could have been bishop to D2, Queen E5 check, knight to E3, and knight to D5. And yeah, that doesn't really do much. So the complications with bishop A5 happened, and yeah, Averbakh has refuted that variation. Now, if he could have tried Queen E5 check And then would follow is king d2, or there could be queen e3 and knight to d5 check, which is not good. So yeah, and then knight e4 here, double check, king c2. This seems like the best play variation, but I think bishop a5 was it was just a little bit not, it was a bit kind of like a panicky sort of move in the deep and complicatedness of this position. So Tao plays now bishop to d2, guaranteeing the loss of the piece for black in a hopefully favorable way that Tao is choosing. So yeah, Averbakh played d5. However, after queen e5 check, queen e3, knight to e4, there is this knight to d6 check because of the pin on the king. And I mean, if queen takes, then queen takes e4, and if knight takes, then you win the queen. So yeah, let's just show this. And I mean, this comes with check here, and you can attack this queen like this, and this rook is pinned. So you might have this threat, but there's ways to stop all of that. Back to the game. So Tao played knight to g3. Seeing that after knight to e3, oh wait, whoops. There's a strong knight to e4, an entrenched knight in the center. So he wants to get rid of that with check, ideally maybe. But now Averbakh plays queen e6 check, and Tao played queen e3, and now d4 was played by Averbakh. And so Tao played queen takes e6, bishop takes e6. And Averbakh has made it so if Tao wins the knight, there is great compensation for that. And white is somewhat undeveloped. So yeah, one possible variation. Let's see what's played in the game. Tao played f3 in the game, but one possible variation is bishop to d3, which is probably what I would play, which is not the best. Now, yeah, castles, and after this, black has knight e2 check, attacking that bishop and getting a better position. Yeah, attacking the bishop and being up material. So yeah, Tao played f3 so he can castle artificially and avoid that knight e2 check. So now Tao played king f2. He's trying to win this piece favorably. Now bishop b6 was played, and now Tao takes on c3, and Averbakh played d takes on c3, and Tao played bishop e3. And now, yeah, Averbakh played bishop takes e3, and this would actually, if you played rook d2 with that pinned bishop e3, this would just help white sort of wriggle out and put his rook on d1, just unwind, I guess. So bishop e3 was good because it misplaces the king, and now rook h2 e8, threatening discovery, but the thing is, there's no real loose piece. I mean, so anyway, Tao played knight e4, and the thing is, well, bishop d5 was played in the game, but if f5 was played, then he would just take on c3, and he has nothing to fear because he only has one piece on the light square and is protected. So bishop d5 was played, and now Tao played g4, securing that outpost. And now Averbakh played bishop takes on e4, and Tao took with a pawn. And now Averbakh played rook d5, building up and just getting ready to make some good progress. This is a good fourth rank. He can attack all these pawns on this rank and defend all of his pawns. And now Tao played rook c1. Pawns must be blockaded, and so he stops that strongest attacking pawn. And Averbakh played g6. Tao played bishop to g2, and now Averbakh played f5. So this is very dangerous because Tao's king is in the center, but the thing is, the king is an attacking piece and doing a good job. Yeah, so now Tao played g takes on f5. And the thing is, in general, you don't want to exchange pawns. He should have just considered keeping the tension with h3, it seems, in retrospect. Now Averbakh played g takes on f5, and now Tao played rook hf1. And so yeah, Averbakh played f takes on e4 because he wanted to avoid rook takes f5, and bishop h3. Because he just wins back. Yeah, Tao would win back the pawn and have better chances of queening something. So that was a good catch by Averbakh. And now Tao played rook takes on c3. But Averbakh has rook h5, which is great. If he gets this pawn gone, then he only has one pawn, and Tao would just have to go for a draw. And now Tao played rook h1, just playing the passive move, but it's the best to keep chances of winning, although being passive. Because after h3, attacking the bishop is hard to hold. If the bishop moves, then there's this, and okay, if bishop moves, I mean, well, you lose the pawn, obviously, but also, yeah, this is just terrible. And let's see, rook h5. There's I guess just passivity and play is guaranteed. So Tao wants to avoid that. So now Averbakh played rook h4, protecting his strong pawn. And now, at this moment, if you count all the pawns up, Tao has 2 and Averbakh has 5. So technically, yeah, Averbakh is equal technically here. And so now Tao played rook to c4. Averbakh played king to c7. And Tao finally got rid of that strong pawn. But after rook e takes on e4, bishop takes e4, and rook h3, bishop f3, because he doesn't want to lose a3. Averbakh has some great counterplay with c5. And so that bishop is not powerful at the moment. And Averbakh is generating some great play in fighting. So now Tao, being smart and genius, is going to make his rook active with rook g1, willing to sacrifice a2. So yeah, white could have still had chances also with rook b1, b6, and rook b2, followed by improving this and getting more squares and territory with a king. So he could have considered that option. But Averbakh played b5 Tal played rook g7. Averbakh played king to b6. Tal played rook b7 check. Averbakh played king to a6, and Tal played rook b8. And now Averbakh takes on h2. Although, I mean, yeah, this could be considered king a5, and just help nursing these pawns, creating great counterplay. And now Tal played bishop to e2. And then rook h3 was played by Averbakh. Tal played king to e4. And Averbakh played c4. And then Tal played a4. And then the game ended here where Averbakh lost on time. He played rook h4 check. And the arbiter stopped the game. And Tal ended up winning. And there only could be really two options. A draw, since after king to d5, then black can play b takes on a4, and after bishop takes on c4 check, king a5. There is some danger with some things like this maybe, but yeah, it's nothing more than a draw because he cannot win material. So that's probably with best play this could happen. So technically, yeah, it's a draw, but he was young and he won on time. Very great calculating, and this, I think, for Tal was a very instructive and memorable game for him, and very influential. So I'll just go through the game so you can see some great play by both sides. And both people showed the best way to handle the most out of your position. Like, so Averbakh making use of his pawns, and Tal making the best use of his extra piece. And so, yeah, I hope you enjoyed the video, and thank you for watching.